Eroi. Children of God, my name is Ephraim Sonshak. I am from Benue State, Conscious Local Government, particularly. Yeah, my testimony is this. There is a divine intervention into a case I was answering here in Abuja. It was a case that the scenery of the case was so complicated, even me could not understand it. On February 16, I was arraigned in the High Court here in Abuja by one prosecuting institution that is so powerful in this Abuja on financial-related matters. And it was on 15-count charges. And when they were reading the 15-count charges in the court, I stood against, I was watching the judge quizzically expecting an intervention from him that is enough. But the case, the 15-count charges were properly read and endorsed by the judge. And eventually, we applied for bail, but the bail was turned down outrightly because of articulated information supplied to the court, whether true or not. At the end of the day, my bail was refused. I went ahead to fight for my bail for almost 6 months while I was staying in Kuje. To an extent that, money was required for me to brought to court because it was a case of land transaction that I duly bought, had power on turning, have my deed, have everything with me. I'm not justifying myself. But what I'm saying is I bought from somebody, and the person is late, but the wife is alive, and is aware of the transaction. And nobody is fighting the land with me, fighting the property with me. And when the person was paying me by installment, because he told me he's working with an NGO, international NGO. He doesn't have much money. And so far as I have an NGO, we are friends. And I was also looking for a job for his wife in INEC because of my connection there. So eventually, it became a family business. But along the line, he said somebody told him that area council land in Ushafa had issue. And then, as a joke, I paid 50% of the money to the man, so some of my property paid 50%. But the man took me to court while I was on the election in Benue. I ran for House of Reps, sorry. So before I could come back, AFCC invited me. The organization invited me. And when I went to the organization, I was locked. After 2 weeks, I went to court. I went along with the director, assistant director, expecting that if they give me bail, outwardly, I will get out of the place. The bail wasn't given to me. So I even petitioned to Chief Judge of FCT. In the process, the Chief Judge came to Kuje prison. And I was praying with some of my friends. I didn't even know that they are going to call my name. And my name was eventually called. And I was there for 2 years. For your information, I was there for 2 years. That's 20 months. So I was called, and I explained the situation, and the Chief Judge ordered that anybody within FCT with Nsppd should stand for me to get my bail. And eventually, the young man that stood for me said Nsppd is failing in Nigeria, so he's using only solar energy. But still, I got the bail. So eventually, I was introduced to this ministry by somebody in Jos who received her miracle in this online on Nsppd. And she had a tumor on her breast, and eventually, while partaking in this program, he went to the hospital, and the thing got disappeared, and she connected me to this ministry. And I started holding on to this faith. Even when I was released, I was staying in the hotel because by these 2 years, my rent expired, my properties were packed somewhere, scattered, lost documents, everything. Some people were selling things in the context of helping me under detention. So I was staying in the hotel, and I was still going to court. While I was going to court, she connected to this ministry online. I was praying. I never know that there's a ministry here. Suddenly, God blessed me as a result of my endless connection with this ministry and the favors and blessings of God in this ministry. So I moved to the town close to this place. I never know that this church is existing here. On first week of September, I was looking for a church because my house is very close by here to fellowship. Then I saw people parking here. I was driving around. So I met one young man with his wife and children. I said, what's happening here? He said, it's a church. So what's the ministry all about? He mentioned Stream of Joy. I didn't understand that because I know of Jerry Eze online. Pastor Jerry Eze online. So eventually, I followed them to here and had discovered that this is the ministry that I have been praying for. This is the ministry I have been benefiting from. Then the second week, we were asked to write items, issues on the paper and submit on the altar. And my first request was God's intervention into my case that I myself cannot fight. So I wrote the prayer articles, and I was praying over it. Last month, on the 17th of March, last month, I was about to go to court. Spend money, get exhausted. Everything around me. The last money I had in the account that time, I sent to my lawyer to prepare 2 motions and his appearance fees. I started crying. That God, what is this? I came here doing business under the pretext of legitimate business. What am I passing through? So I started praying. And God told me that He's going to answer me in the midnight, the way I don't imagine. I went to bed. I come back to pray. I had the same voice. So the following day, as my culture tells, because every morning I always follow the Nsppd prayers, but on that fateful day, I went to arrange myself. I was so busy like Martha trying to arrange myself, the phobia of going to court late because I don't want any problem, encumbrances with the system. So but on the way going to court, I opened my phone and I started praying, and as man of God was mentioning, Ephata. There's a miracle in the Bible that somebody's eyes were opened. Ephata. I joined Ephata. So when I went to court, only Ephata was coming to my mouth. Didn't even know the meaning of Ephata. I said, Ephata. So, Finally, in what Greek we describe it as Deus ex machina, the God that involves, the God of this ministry, the God of Pastor Jerry Eze, got involved. Ephata effect. The Ephata effect started flowing. The frequency of it was so overwhelming. The organization defaulted from what the Lord asked them to do all around. And they could not even appear to court. 2 of my motions were not even presented because my council adapted the environmental development by moving an impromptu oral motion. That, hey, this young man has suffered in prison for 2 years and he has been coming here diligently. And now that these people are properly exhibiting negligence, this matter, he should be released to go and rest. I was saying, Ephata. I didn't know what to say again. The judge wrote, within 10 minutes, wrote quietly and said the case is hereby dismissed.
Hey! The Ephata effect.
15 count charges. 15 count charges. 1, 2, 3, 4 to 15 count charges dismissed. I come back to say it started here. It continues here. Because more of good things are coming. Because we are in the seasons of more. I don't know the seasons we are also waiting. I waited patiently for 4 years under prosecution. But when the season of more comes in, the effect of Ephata exonerated me. Praise the Lord. What God cannot do, What one cannot do.
Hey!